Hello and welcome to the MCQ lecture series. In today's class, we are going to look at some of the important multiple choice questions with respect to economics of growth and development, which is the economics general paper for TYBA. In my previous lectures, I have covered two important theories. One is the theory given by Adam Smith and the other is the Ricardian theory of economic development. In today's class, we are going to look at the Malthusian theory of economic development. In this class, I will cover some of the important MCQs for Malthusian theory, and there will be one more session on Malthusian theory wherein I will cover some of the important questions as well. So let's get started. In this class, the first question is, Malthus did not regard the process of economic development as automatic. Rather, he said it requires consistent efforts on the part of dash. So Malthus did not regard the process of economic development as automatic. Rather, he said that it requires consistent efforts on part of dash, on part of A, governments, on part of B, people, on part of C, banks, or on part of D, institutions. So Malthus did not regard the process of economic development as automatic. Rather, he said it requires consistent efforts on the part of the people of that country. So option B is the correct answer to this question. I hope the question is clear. Let us now move to the next one. Malthusian theory suggests that an economy will reach dash many a times before attaining the optimum level of development. So Malthus suggests that an economy will reach a certain stage many a times before reaching or before attaining the optimum level of development. What is this stage? Whether this stage is A, equilibrium, B, slum, C, milestone, or D, none of the above. So here, according to the Malthusian theory, an economy will reach slums many a time before attaining optimum level of development. So here the correct answer is slum. Okay, so I hope the question is clear and also the answer to this question. Let us now move to the next one. The next question suggests, for Malthus, the process of development was one of dash and dash of economic activities. For Malthus, the process of development was one of dash and dash of economic activities rather than smooth. Okay, rather than smooth, what was the kind of economic or the process of economic development in terms of economic activities according to Malthus? Whether it was A, good and bad, B, of ups and downs, C, of static and dynamic nature, and D, none of the above. So here for Malthus, the process of development was one of ups and downs of economic activities rather than smooth economic activities. So here option B suggests the same. That means for Malthus, the process of economic development was one of ups and downs of economic activities rather than being smooth. So I hope this question is clear. Let us now move to the next one. The next one is, the Malthusian theory of development is concerned with the dash of a country. The Malthusian theory of development is concerned with what of a country? It is concerned with A, progress of population of a country, B, progress of wealth of a country, C, progress of institutions of a country, or D, none of the above. So here, according to the Malthusian theory of development, or the Malthusian theory of development is concerned with the progress of wealth of a country. So option B, progress of wealth of a country, is true with respect to this question. So the Malthusian theory of development is concerned with the progress of wealth of a country. I hope this is clear. Let us now move to the next question. The wealth of a country, according to Malthus, depends upon what? So we have seen that for Malthus in theory, the important or the point of concern was the progress of wealth of a country. But now let us see, the wealth of a country according to the Malthusian theory depends upon what? The next question is in relation to that. Let us look at the underlying options. The options are partly on the quantity of produce obtained by its labor. Second option is partly on the valuation of the produce which is obtained by its labor, obviously. Third is both A and B, that is partly on the quantity of produce obtained by its labor and partly on the valuation of the produce, and D, none of the above. So here, according to the Malthusian theory, wealth of a country depends upon both these things. That means it depends partly on the quantity of produce obtained by its labor and partly on the valuation of that produce. So therefore option C, both A and B, is correct with respect to this question, which talks about whether or not wealth is dependent, or wealth of a country is dependent upon something. So here wealth does depend upon two important things. Partly it depends upon the quantity of produce obtained by its labor and partly on the valuation of that produce per se. Anyways, I hope this question is clear. Let us now move to the next one. The next one is in relation to what happens if at all the population grows according to the Malthusian theory. Anyways, let us look at what the question is. According to the Malthusian model, population growth increases wealth. So what happens if at all there is growth in population? It increases wealth, but at what condition it will increase wealth? Only if it increases dash. So according to Malthusian model, population growth will increase wealth only if it increases dash. Increases A, production, increases B, effective demand, increases C, savings, increases D, investment. So according to the Malthusian model, population growth increases wealth only if it is transmitted, or only if it is supported by increased effective demand. Okay, so here the correct answer is whether if it is translated into increased effective demand, then only the population growth will create or end up into creation of wealth, otherwise it won't. So here according to the Malthusian model, population growth increases wealth only if it increases effective demand. So here option B is true with respect to this question. I hope the question is clear. Let us now move to the next one. Here we are looking at the two important elements of wealth according to Malthus, and the question is framed in this fashion. Malthus regarded dash and dash as the two grand elements of wealth, because Malthus thinks that if they are combined in some right proportion or magical proportion, this will lead to increase in wealth of a country. That means if at all these two things are combined in the right proportions, they will increase the wealth of a country according to Malthus. So let us look at the underlying options for what can be the two grand elements of wealth according to Malthus, whether they are A, investments and savings, B, production and distribution, C, consumption and saving, and D, production and investment. So here according to Malthus, production and distribution are the two grand elements of wealth, because if we combine production and distribution in the right proportions, Malthus suggests that they will increase the wealth of a country. So here option B, production and distribution, is the correct answer to this particular question. I hope the question is clear. Very important question with respect to the Malthusian theory. Anyways, let us now move to the next one. The next one talks about, according to Malthusian theory, the size of potential gross national product depends upon what? According to the Malthusian theory, the size of potential gross national product depends upon what? Whether it depends upon A, land, B, labor, C, capital, D, organization. We have these options and we have to select the correct answer here. So let us look at what are the options available to us. The first option suggests that according to the Malthusian theory, the size of potential gross national product depends upon, option first is A and B, it depends upon land and labor. The second option is B and C, it depends upon labor and capital. The third option is A and D, that means land and organization. And the last is all of the above, A, B, C and D. That means according to the Malthusian theory, the size of potential gross national product depends upon land, labor, capital and organization. So here the correct answer is option 4, A, B, C, D. That means according to the Malthusian theory, the size of potential gross national product depends not only on land, labor, capital, but it also on organization, and therefore option 4, A, B, C, D is the correct answer to this question. I hope the question is clear. Let us now move to the next question. The next question is, according to Malthusian theory, dash leads to an increase in both agricultural as well as industrial production. According to Malthusian theory, what leads to an increase in agricultural as well as industrial production, whether it is A, accumulation of capital, whether it is B, fertility of the soil, whether it is C, the technological progress, or D, all of the above. So here we are interested in finding out what leads to an increase in both agricultural and industrial production according to the Malthusian theory, and here the correct answer is all of the above. That means it is not only accumulation of capital and fertility of the soil, but also the technological progress, and therefore option D, all of the above, leads to both agricultural and industrial, or increase in both agricultural and industrial production according to the Malthusian theory. I hope the question is clear. Very important questions with respect to Malthusian theory. Let us now move to the last question in this session, the non-economic factors. Here I am interested in non-economic factors. So the non-economic factors on which economic development depends according to Malthus are what? What can be the possible non-economic factors on which the economic development depends according to the Malthusian theory? Let us look at the underlying options. The first is security of property. The second is a good constitution, excellent laws, and proper administration. The third is education and hardworking habits, and last is all of the above. So what can be the possible non-economic factors on which economic development depends according to Malthus? They are denoted by all these points. That means education and hardworking habits, a good constitution, excellent laws, and good administration, as well as security of property. So here all these three things relate to non-economic factors on which economic development is dependent, and therefore option D, all of the above, is correct with respect to this question. I hope the questions are pretty much clear. In the next session as well, I'm going to continue with the Malthusian theory of economic development. So please stay tuned for more. Thank you.